They said the Milner Vault was impossible to breach. 47 motion sensors, a seismic floor, a door that weighed 2 tons. But on a rain-soaked Thursday in October, someone did the impossible. Monday morning, the vault door was wide open. No alarms, no forced entry. And the Aeternum, the 89-carat flawless diamond, sat on its pedestal, untouched. And yet, 3 people were arrested 6 blocks away, bags full of nothing. That's when Detective Anya Kross caught the case, and she knew one thing immediately. No one breaks into a vault to steal nothing. Lena Voss, the mastermind, swore they took the diamond. But Marcus Cole, he couldn't stop talking. And Isaac Yen just smiled. Because he'd already replaced the Aeternum 8 months ago. The gem in the vault was a lab-grown replica. The real Aeternum had already left the building, long before the alarms ever sounded. Kross pulled every access log for the last 12 months, and one night stood out.
March 14th, the only night a single person had entered the vault chamber alone. Isaac Yen wasn't just a thief, he was the vault's own security consultant. She threw the log in front of Marcus Cole. You knew him before the job, didn't you? Marcus broke. Isaac approached them 6 weeks ago with the blueprint, said it was a clean job. But the blueprint he gave them didn't show the internal displacement alarm. Lena Voss hadn't spoken a word until she saw that circle. Then she whispered something that made the whole room go cold. He didn't want the diamond. He wanted the lockdown. The entire robbery was a trigger, a controlled detonation designed to wipe every access log from the previous year. The theft of the Aeternum wasn't the crime. It was the alibi. Kross turned to the one thing Isaac couldn't physically steal, the digital ghost. Every log from the night of March 14th was gone, erased by the lockdown protocol. But there was one entry the wipe didn't touch, a parking garage receipt. The license plate traced back to a car registered to a dead man.
Isaac's younger brother supposedly died in a boating accident 4 years ago. Isaac had kept his brother's identity alive and used it to move unseen. She traced a rental payment to a storage unit on the edge of the city, Unit 47, rented under Daniel Yen's name, paid in cash 6 months in advance. She didn't wait for a warrant. The bolt cutters were already in her trunk. What was inside, no one could have predicted. There was a blueprint of the Aeternum, marked with cut lines. He didn't just steal it, he erased it, recut it into stones that would never be recognized. 3 flawless 29-carat stones, already sold through a proxy in Antwerp, untraceable. She went back to Isaac, and this time, there was no smile. He said, "You found the workshop. Very good. But you still don't know where the stones are." And he was right. The proxy in Antwerp was a shell company inside a shell company. For the first time in her career, Kross felt the case slip through her fingers. Until a junior analyst knocked on her door, holding a phone record. Isaac's burner phone, the one he used the night of the heist. There was one call he forgot to erase.
The number wasn't a burner, it was registered. Police Commissioner Ronald Mathers, a 30-year veteran, the last person anyone would suspect. Kross stared at the name for a full minute. This wasn't just a criminal. This was the man who could end her career. And then she saw the clearance log. Isaac Yen had been granted a diplomatic escort out of the country, signed by Mathers himself. He was already leaving, a private flight scheduled in 40 minutes. Kross ran. The city blurred past her window. Sirens, rain, red lights. Frenetic pace. She reached the private airfield just as the jet's engines were starting. She shouted for them to stop.
but the stairs were already pulling away. And through the window, Isaac Yen raised a glass, a silent toast. She watched the jet lift into the clouds. Gone. The Aeternum was gone, recut, sold. And the man who did it was untouchable. But as she stood there, one detail kept drilling into her mind. 2 minutes and 13 seconds. To the commissioner, at midnight. What does a master thief say to the police commissioner for 2 minutes, at the exact moment the vault alarm is supposed to go off?
Not a warning, not a bribe. Clearance. Commissioner Mathers didn't let Isaac escape. He was the escape plan. The commissioner wasn't a victim. He was the exit. Isaac didn't need to kill anyone. He just needed the past to be erased. A crime where nothing was stolen, no one was hurt, and the only evidence was a phone call to the chief of police. But Kross wasn't finished. She still had the phone, and the phone could still dial back. She pressed dial and waited. 1 ring. 2. A click. No words were exchanged. Just breathing. Then slowly, Kross hung up. Message delivered. But while she was on the line, a text arrived from an unknown number. Isaac Yen, always 3 moves ahead.
But Kross didn't need to prove it in court. She just needed to make sure the story got out. Because what she didn't know, what no one knew, was that the commissioner had a son fighting a rare cancer, with medical bills paid by an anonymous donor. Anonymous until now. He didn't sell his badge for greed. He sold it for his child. It didn't make it right, but it made it human. She couldn't put Mathers away, not yet, but she could make sure the world knew what Isaac Yen had done. Within hours, the story was everywhere. The perfect crime that fooled the world. And somewhere over the Atlantic, Isaac Yen read the news on his tablet. He didn't smile anymore. The Milner Vault still stands. The door works perfectly. The pedestal is empty. A red rose, delivered by courier the day Isaac escaped. A final touch he'd arranged months ago. But there's one thing Kross never understood. Mathers called Isaac first at 11:47 p.m., 12 minutes before the vault opened. It wasn't Isaac who gave the order. It was the commissioner. But why? Why would a commissioner set his own vault's destruction in motion? Because the vault's insurance policy had a silent trigger. A total system failure payout worth 4 times the diamond's market value. The diamond was never the prize. The insurance fraud was. And Mathers was the beneficiary.
Isaac wasn't the mastermind. He was the weapon, hired by Mathers to destroy his own vault and make it look like a heist. The diamond swap was just a side hustle, a bonus Isaac carved out for himself. But the insurance company had already paid, and Mathers' son's treatment had already started. The money was spent. Kross had the truth. But justice was a luxury no one could afford. She closed the file, marked it unsolved, and walked away. Isaac Yen was never seen again, but rumors say he lives quietly on a vineyard in Tuscany. Lena Voss took a deal, 5 years. Marcus Cole got 8. Neither ever spoke of Isaac again. Commissioner Mathers resigned 6 months later, citing family reasons. His son went into remission. Some prices aren't paid in money. And Anya Kross, she moved on. A new case, a new impossible question. But she keeps a photo in her desk drawer. Not of the vault, not of the diamond.
Taken 8 months before the heist.
Before the swap, before the lie. Who took the picture? Because someone had to be inside the vault with him. Someone who was never arrested. Someone who still has the negatives. The Ice Vault Paradox. 3 thieves, 1 diamond, and a 4th ghost we never saw.